At Winterclash 2025, there was a lot of controversy, discussion and backlash after Andy Wagner, the owner of Razors, decided to post an ill-considered story on the official Razors Instagram account. At around 5:50 p.m. on the Friday evening, Andy decided to take a photo of the man working at the Cougar booth at the Winterclash trade show without his permission, and he posted a story on the official Razors Instagram account which said, "After 20 years of support, at Winterclash Official gave our spot to Chin Yang Jing." To make things perfectly clear, the man in the photo is called Wai Cheng Wen, not Chin Yang Jing. Andy Wagner, in his infinite wisdom, not knowing the man's real name, thought it would be really funny to just make up an Asian-sounding name.
Ugh. Idiot.
There's a lot to unpack there, but we'll get to that later. At the time this happened, I was having a drink with a bunch of friends at a bar across the street from the venue, and someone showed me the post. I instantly screen grabbed it and wrote "racist much," and then the DMs just started flooding in. Some people were shocked, some people just thought it was on brand for Andy and hilarious that he's like the pantomime villain of rollerblading, and some people didn't think it was Andy at all. Now, one of the Razors riders, Victor Dom, is responsible for all the social media that Razors puts out. They pay him to do that. He even confirmed it when I did an episode of Platform Podcast with him. A bunch of people were DMing me saying, "That's probably not Andy, it was probably Victor." I knew for a fact it wasn't Victor Dom. I've spoken to Victor Dom at length. He is a lovely guy. I was under no delusion that he had done this. I knew for a fact this had Andy written all over it. As a result, I posted a number of memes that evening, which you probably saw, taking aim at Andy, giving him a taste of his own medicine, and making it absolutely clear that Victor wasn't responsible for this, no other team member was responsible for this, no other member of staff was responsible for this. The blame lay squarely with Andy Wagner. The next morning, I woke up to a couple of Instagram stories from Miguel Martinez, who is the MC for Winterclash and responsible for this famous phrase.
Once again, are you ready, Winterclash?
In the first post, he screen grabbed the offending Razors post and covered up the racist jibe with the words, "Kick racism out of Winterclash and out of the inline world." In his second post on the Saturday morning, before the competition began, he went into much further detail. "Inline skating has been part of my life for the last 30 years and it has taken me to so many events all around the world. I am happy to have seen and experienced a lot in all the years and I feel privileged to have witnessed the evolution of the scene. I think we developed in a fantastic way and today it's full of beautiful people from all over the world united by one passion. We have more than 50 countries with us in Eindhoven this weekend. There has never been room for racists or similar assholes, and I can't understand or accept a big brand posting this kind of discrimination on their page. Andy, you are a shame for the inline world. In the actual time, people need to stick together and support each other. Winterclash is the best example of how much we can reach with togetherness. We don't need no wannabe Elon Musk talking shit. Kick racists out of inline skating." Me criticising Andy doesn't really mean much. I have been a vocal critic of Andy Wagner for years. Miguel standing up and saying something means a lot. He is the voice of Winterclash. He is one of the things that makes Winterclash the special event that it is. And him standing up and saying, "We don't accept this type of behaviour and we're not going to tolerate you," is a big deal. The whole of the Saturday, that was all anyone was talking about. Other company owners, skaters, even Razors riders were talking about it, saying they couldn't believe Andy had done it, and as soon as they noticed, they took the post down. The only person who wasn't visible at Winterclash on Saturday was Andy Wagner. Why? Because Winterclash told him that he wasn't welcome at the event. Not only that, they gave his photo to the security guards at the front door and said, "If this man tries to get in the building, do not let him in." Andy Wagner was not welcome at Winterclash on the Saturday after he posted that on the Friday night. Now, there's two reasons for this. Number one, Winterclash represents diversity, welcoming people from all over the world and not caring about your colour, your gender. None of that stuff matters. All that matters is your shared passion for rollerblading. It's an inclusive, safe space. And what Andy posted is in direct opposition to that. And they just didn't want that tarnishing their event. And number two, they were probably posting it to protect him as well, because a lot of people were really angry and really vocal, and people were definitely going to confront him about it. There was going to be arguments, and there was a really good chance those arguments were going to turn violent, and no one wants to see a fight at Winterclash. So how did this all begin? What was the catalyst? Well, I've had a booth at Winterclash in the past. I've worked at the event for a few years and I have a vague understanding of how the booth system works, so I'll try and explain it as clearly as possible. At Winterclash, there's two trade show rooms. One is smaller and downstairs in the corner of the skate park. One is larger and upstairs, and it's between the entrance and the bar. So the one downstairs is a lot cheaper, and it's for smaller brands or brands just starting out, to give them a chance to showcase their stuff at Winterclash, get some sales, and generally just have a presence at the event. Upstairs is for bigger brands, and it's more expensive because there's a lot of footfall, there's a lot of people coming and going out the front door, there's a lot of people going to the bar for drinks, so it generally comes with a higher price. If you're one of the brands that has a larger booth upstairs, that again comes with even more expense because you're taking up more space. You also have the option to sponsor an obstacle in the skate park for an additional fee. Cougar Skates had a pretty large booth upstairs, and in addition to that, they sponsored one of the biggest obstacles on the course, if not the biggest obstacle on the course, the giant Cougar box. So it goes without saying, they contributed a lot of money to Winterclash this year. Now, one of two things happened here. Cougar either agreed to a booth first and paid for it after Winterclash canvassed for sponsors, or another likely explanation is they contacted Winterclash very early in the year and said, we want a premium booth and we want to sponsor a large obstacle, and they agreed a price, they paid it. Either way, it's on a first come, first served basis. Andy didn't get the premium booth spot that he wanted, so he decided to call out Winterclash like a spoiled brat and accuse them of giving away his booth. His booth! It's not your booth until you pay for it. How entitled are you? As a result of not getting the spot that they wanted, Razors didn't have a booth at the trade show and decided not to sponsor the event at all. There's a few things to unpack from Andy's post on the official Razors Instagram account. One, it didn't make any sense at all. Firstly, why is Andy even mentioning Cougar at all? Him not having a booth space has got nothing to do with Cougar. His issue is with Winterclash. That's who he has an agreement with. That's who he's claimed he's supported for 20 years. He didn't even tag Cougar in the post. He tagged at Winterclash official. Andy, if you've got a problem with Winterclash, take it up with Yo-Yo. Or if you're going to make fun of anyone, make fun of Yo-Yo. Don't make fun of the random Asian guy just minding his own business. It would have been bad enough if he posted on his personal Instagram account, but instead he chose to post on the official Razors Instagram account. So he's tarnishing his name, his brand's name, his riders, and his staff, all because of his foolishness. Why would you do that? Why would you do something so foolish? Well, according to a lot of people that day, Andy had quite a few beers. Lastly, it's not even funny. Making up an Asian sounding name. The comedians who used to tell jokes like that are no longer on TV. They have been cancelled. And if you thought Andy's joke was funny, chances are you're a fucking moron and your social media presence is you taking selfies in your van. That shit isn't funny. On the Saturday evening, Razors attempted some really pathetic damage control where they posted a photo of Julian Cadeau arm in arm with Victor Dom and the words, "We love and support each other." That wasn't the point. It was never about Razors having an issue with Cougar, and I don't really understand how a photo of Julian being arm in arm with Victor makes up for the fact that Andy is posting racist shit on Instagram. The official Razors Instagram account. On Monday, after the event had finished, Kevin Brinkman, the man responsible for Plastic Pushers and someone who's worked at Winterclash for many years, wrote this on social media. Winterclash was amazing. One big community that comes together for the same reason, the love of the sport. Sadly, one person decided to be a dick, The owner of Razor Skate Co., Andy, posted on the Razor's page racist stuff about another company owner. The staff made the right decision and he is never allowed back at Winterclash. Now it's up to you to finally cancel this company, ditch those skates, leave that sponsor. No room for racism anywhere. That's now 3 people associated with the event publicly calling out Andy. But I just want to make one thing clear. Andy has not received, at least officially, a lifetime ban from Winterclash. He was simply told he couldn't go on the Saturday because it would be too problematic. And it would have been problematic. Less than a week after all this has happened, one of the riders has already decided to jump ship. If you haven't watched the latest episode of Jumbo Podcast, shame on you, because it's excellent. I'll put a link in the description. But Andrew Broom confirmed that he is no longer riding for the brand as a result of Andy's actions.
I don't ride for Razors no longer.
You heard it here for breaking news, everyone.
No Sunshine Distribution over here.
He also frequently denounced Andy for what he did.
You cannot take that back. You did some fucked up shit. That's how you think, my man. Like, now we know. And I'm sorry, but we're not fucking with that over here.
If you're paying attention to the live chat, you may have noticed that Jared Banning has said he's also quitting the brand, and now he's put up a post on Instagram to confirm it. In light of recent events, I've decided to part ways with Razor Skate Co. I want to thank Akersman for the continuous support over the past 12 years, but this type of behaviour from the owner is unacceptable and we must hold our peers accountable for their actions. Notice that at no point did he thank Andy for his support. He only thanked Geoff Akers. That tells you everything you need to know. On Wednesday the 19th of February, Razors posted a message from Andy addressing the situation. Regarding the recent controversy on social media, I want to address what happened. While walking through the trade show area, several exhibitors expressed their disappointment that Razors did not have a booth in the main area after 20 years of continuous support for Winterclash. In the heat of the moment, I let my frustration get the best of me and shared my thoughts in an inappropriate comment. However, this was neither the right approach nor the right platform to express my feelings, so the story was deleted shortly after. I sincerely apologise to anyone who may have been offended or disappointed by my reaction, and I regret not handling the situation with more thoughtfulness. I remain committed to supporting the community. There's just one problem. It's not really an apology. The language that he uses in this statement is very important and it's pretty telling. I shared my thoughts in an inappropriate comment. No one is condemning you for sharing your thoughts. They're condemning you for those thoughts being racist. He also says this was not the right approach or the right platform. Is there such a thing as a right approach and a right platform for racist comments? Like a Proud Boys march, maybe? He then goes on to say it was not the right platform to express my feelings, so the story was deleted shortly after, implying that Andy deleted the story himself. He's basically suggesting that he posted that, saw the error of his ways, and then took it down. I know for a fact Andy didn't take it down because I spoke to one of the riders who told me he took it down after stumbling upon it, being horrified, getting rid of it, and they were basically trying to block Andy's permissions from posting on Instagram for the rest of the night. There's a lot to take issue with in this statement, a lot of dodging, a lot of being vague, a lot of not really owning up to what he did. But the main one I think people should take issue with is he says, I apologise to anyone who may have felt offended or disappointed. So you're not actually apologising for saying anything offensive, you're just apologising for people who felt offended. Basically, you're just saying that you're sorry that the joke didn't land. A lot of people were not satisfied with Andy's statement at all. Some people have even disputed whether Andy even wrote it, whether it's just damage control and they got someone else to try and fix it for them. But one person who was not impressed was Jordan Williams, who screenshotted the apology and just wrote underneath, not impressed. Jordan has not officially quit the brand yet, but based on his feelings, I imagine he's probably not going to stick around very long. Another rider who's quit is Cody Refner, who put a post on Instagram stories saying, thanks Razors for everything, I'm moving on now. So, in a nutshell, as a result of one Instagram story post, Andy Wagner has managed to offend a huge part of the inline community, disrupt one of the biggest and most positive events in the world. He's lost 1 pro team rider, confirmed 2 other team riders, and it seems like more are on the way, all over one idiotic Instagram post that he had no business being on there in the first place. He does not post on that account. That is not his responsibility. He is the owner of the brand. Now, I've seen some misinformation online, a lot of people referring to him as the manager or saying get him out or let Jeff Akers take control. Andy is the sole owner of Sunshine Distribution. He owns Razors, Ground Control and Rain. There are no co-owners, there's no board, there are no investors, so if there was, they would have edged him out years ago because he has been a liability for a long time. Remember the Yandriel thing where he owed Yandriel over £1,000 in basically payment for services that they pre-agreed and then he didn't pay it? Yandriel quit and then a bunch of other riders quit. If there was a board, if there was investors, they would have got rid of him there and then. That is some problematic stuff. I have got no idea what the future for Razors holds, especially with Andy as the face of the company and the owner, but what I will say is this: I do know about riders and staff members who people have been contacting, demanding that they quit and in some cases being abusive towards them. It is not their fault. They have not done anything wrong. They are not responsible for Andy's actions and they're sure as hell not responsible for his words. If they choose to quit, that's their choice. Leave them to it. As for Cavan's post where he's demanding that people throw their Razor skates in the bin, I don't agree with that either. Skates are very expensive. Sometimes they're £200, sometimes they're £300. If you live in certain countries where they're getting shipped a long way, it can be even more. I would never encourage anyone to throw their skates in the bin. They're very expensive. What I would say is the next time you go to buy a new pair of skates, maybe consider looking at other brands that aren't problematic, brands that don't regularly have riders quit and then talk about horrific experiences they've had with them. Invest in brands that look after our future, that support team riders, that support events that are contributing meaningfully to our culture. And there's a lot to choose from, so go for one of those. Let me know what you think about this topic. Do you think Razors can recover from this? What would you like to see them do in the future to potentially make amends? Can they make amends? What are your thoughts on the riders who've quit and the riders who have chose to stay? Let me know. Please be respectful in the comments and speak to you guys soon.